Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, Vishwa, we can see.
Okay. Okay. Welcome all. My name is Wishwa Sigera. These are my Twitter handle and LinkedIn handle. And let's jump into the intro. Actually, I'm working as a project lead at persistent systems, and I have overall 15 years of experience. And I have started as a Java developer back in 2007 and moving to the Salesforce 9 years ago and 2 times certified. Okay, let's move to our trail map. So today we are planning to discuss about developer console basics as well as how to do the Apex testing. So these are the main topics that we are going to cover up. Intro to developer console, handling source code, generate and analyze the debug logs, inspect values at checkpoints, sources and SOQL and source queries in developer console. As well as after that we are moving to unit testing. Then we will do some hands-on on testing triggers and create some test data. So this is the plan. Okay, let's jump into the developer console basics. So as I mentioned, in developer console basics, these are the things I'm going to cover up. So I hope some of you have seen developer console before, some may not. As I get to know from Brenda, there are some freshers from universities as well as some junior. So what is a developer console? Actually, developer console is a browser-based integrated development environment where we can do go through the Apex classes, create Apex classes, open and browse all the resources, as well as we can create the triggers, Aura components, Visual Force pages, and other components. As well as we can browse all the factors. The third point will be we can generate logs for debugging and analyzing purposes, as well as we can do the Apex coding for testing and do the business logics, and we can ensure that we can do error-free codes there. So there are two ways we can identify our errors or any other issues that we have introduced into our code. So one is we can go through debug logs, or else we can set up some checkpoints and we can investigate the checkpoints and understand what are the values that objects got object, and as execution of software queries and software queries. Uh, there are two types of queries that we can do in Salesforce. I will introduce them in later part of my presentation. Okay. So this is the look and feel of the developer console when you log into the developer console. Main part is the editor, and secondly, you can see some tabs which we can see logs, test results, checkpoints, core editors. We can see the view state, progress, and the problem. So normally when we are development, we may have sometimes we may have to do different projects at same time. So we have to arrange our tools according to project specific needs. So in that case, workspace comes into the play. We can set up a workspace according to our project needs, and instantly we can switch the workspace according to our project. So let's jump into the demo. So we cover up how to create the workspace, how to create the classes, how to execute classes, and how to create a Visual Force pages as well as Aura components. Let me open up. Okay. Uh, I have opened the setup. I hope you guys know how to open the setup. When you log into the Salesforce system, you can see there's a you can into this cell. Hello, guys, can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I got a message that my connection is unstable. That's it. Okay. From the same menu, we can open up the developer console. So this will be the developer console look and feel. So you can just copy this URL, and for ease of using, you can open it up in another tab that will be easy to move around. So that's a quick from my side because it's a bit hard to change the pop-ups and all. Okay, so now we are going to create a create Apex class. So what you have to do is click the file menu. Is it clear enough, or do I need to increase the font size? Do I need to zoom in? Nandu, what about? Hello? Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can
if
you see?
you like increase a bit, it would be better. It would be clear. The font size.
What about?
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay. So we can create the Apex class using file menu, click new, and go to new Apex class and provide the name of the class. So it will do skeleton for us. I will just copy and paste a sample code there. So don't worry much about this code. Here what we're going to do is send an email to a specific address using and the body. So this is another method to inspect the results. So we once we create a Apex class, we can execute it from either anonymous window in debug console, or else we can use it. If you guys know about Visual Studio Code, the anonymous block Visual Studio Code, as well as we can execute it in what is called Salesforce Workbench. So I'm going to execute this and let me copy the code. So you just need to go to a debug menu and open the so here there will be a editor. So I just need to change. So in this code segment, what we are going to do is we are going to initiate a instance from this email mission specialist class, and we will going to call this send mail method with this given parameter. Okay, so I'm going to. There are two ways to execute the anonymous code segments. One is, so let's say we have some if you just hit the execute button, then it will execute both the commands, or else we can just execute the highlighted segment using this execute highlighted button. I just do the highlighted one So in this part, you can see that log has been created. I just click this log under the logs tab. So it mentions me that user is Wishwa Sigera. Application is unknown because it is executed as anonymous block, and operation mentions what would be the operation. So this one is there's a API called tooling in Salesforce. So this developer console use this tooling API to execute the instructions. So it uses this tooling API execute anonymous service, as well as it shows the time and what is the status of the execution and whether it is read or not, and what will be the size of the log. Okay, so let's try to execute the email. Okay, so I'm double clicking and open this log window. So it says that email has successfully sent. So if you go through this code base, you can see that if email was sent properly or not by using this debug logs. So I will dig deeper into these debug logs later. Let's jump into the Quora components. So let's we should how to create them. Okay, for now I will close these two. So if you go to this file menu and new, you can see what are the things that you can create. We can create Apex classes, Apex triggers, components, Lightning applications, Lightning components, Lightning interfaces, Lightning tokens. So these are very basic stuff, but you have to know each and everything into the development. So now I'm going to create a Quora component, which is called as a Lightning component. So I will provide a name. And submit it. Okay, for now, we don't have anything in this component. let's say we can use control save to do the save, or we can just go to file menu and click save or click save all. Or else you can even, if you want to delete something, you can just go to delete, or you can use the control delete as well. So I'm not going to explain each and every point of these Aura components, as we are not covering it up here. So I'll show you what are the things that we can see in the developer console. So this is the I just refreshed my page to show you how to open up the resources as well. So we can open up classes, but we have done so far is email mission special list. We don't have any triggers, pages, components, or so. So now we should open up the new resources. So these are my trailhead components, which will automatically install into the org. So this is the custom component that we have created, meet and greet. So double click it, you can open it up. On the right hand side, you can see components, controllers, helper, file sheet, documentation. Can add the vendors, design components, as well as SVG. So as I mentioned, we are not going to dig deeper these stuff, as we are not covering the Lightning components. I just showing you how to create and open the stuff in developer console. So I will just show you how to create a Visual Force page. Just go to the file menu and create a Visual Force page. Provide a name for it. So I'm just copy and paste some sample and save it. once you save the asterisk button for let's say if it is edited, there will be a asterisk on this tab. Once you save it, it will disappear. So you can preview the Visual Force pages here. If you click the preview button, it will open up a Visual Force page as a tab. This is the sample code that we have copy and paste here. Okay. Do you guys have any questions regarding this? Then we can jump into the next part. How to generate logs and analyze the logs. This is very simple stuff. Yeah. So you can find out some more information by going through this link. Am I too fast or too slow? Can you hear me? Because I don't get any response from you guys. Nandu, can you you want any clarifications? You can just send the chat. Even I can reply to them there as well. Okay. Let's see how to generate and analyze the logs. On your previously, there are two parts where we can see the debug logs. Sorry. Where we can see the logs as well as there are few filters. I will let you know. I will show you how to do the filtering as well. So mainly we can see the timestamp in first column. It will show you the user's time zone. For example, let's say we have a organization Salesforce org where we can where that org is belong to USA company or someone. But if you are doing the coding here in Sri Lanka and time zone is set to Sri Lanka, then times will be shown in Sri Lankan time zone, so which is IST. So this will be the format of timestamp. You can identify hour, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. As well as in the event column, you can identify whether it is what kind of event is happening in this particular log line. In details, it will show you what is the line. So line of the code, as well as the method name, or where the code was executed. So in this brackets, you can see the number. That is the number where line of the code is mentioned. As well as if you see this, I think this is not much clear. I will show it in a log. So as I previously mentioned, we can filter the logs according to this frame or executables, or else we can just filter the debug only to show the user debug event. As well as we can just type whatever the name or whatever the method, or else whatever filter, we can filter it, then it will filter the logs accordingly. Even we can open up the row log. We have more information where we can open is we can go to the file menu and open the row log. So open row logs will show something like this. There will be some main parts, timestamp, event identifier. In the timestamp, it will show you the timestamp, as well as in curly brackets, it will show the elapsed time. In the event identifier, first portion is shown as variable scope begin. So that is the event of this particular log, and it will show you the rest of the details. This is the code line. This is the class name, and what is the, it will show you the object initialization, as what would be the values. So I will show you. Let me go to Okay, as I mentioned, you guys, this is the log that we are going to analyze. So, yeah. So the first log event is it shows the user info. It mentions that this event is executed externally, which means I have executed it as an anonymous code, and it will show you the user information and what would be the time zone. Okay. In next level, it says execution started. It will mention that external execution is executed anonymous Apex. Variable scope, and it will show you the heap allocation and what would be the how many in the come to the start of statement execute. It will show you heap allocation, and then it will show you the method entry. What it will show you that email mission specialist, email mission specialist. So let me show you the class. This is the class. So it will show you the constructor. So it will execute the default constructor. So after that, method will exit. Then there will be heap allocation for these bytes. And here's the condition for these email missions specialist constructor, and it will do the, sorry. Can you guys see which line I am in? It will highlight my selection, right? So next, it will do the variable scope begin, and it will do the variable assignments, and it will show you that what would be the heap allocation. Then it will do the statement execute, line number 1. Likewise, it will show you all the variable assignments. Here, this is a special one. This is the method call. You can see that email mission special is send mail with 3 parameters of string types. So we see it mentions about this part. There are 3 string parameters. It will show you each and every parameter. I mean variable assignment. You can see this. There's a variable called address, which is a string type, and variable assignment, the address is equal to vishwa.anirudh@gmail.com. So in this log, some of the strings are truncated. So if you go to these 2 variable assignments, you can see that subject and the body variables are assigned with the given values. This one, line number 7, 8, and 9. It will assign our address, subject, and body into the variables of to address, subject, and the plain text body in this single email message object. So you can see those values here. Yeah, variable assignment to address, and rest of the parts are not showing here. After the statement execute of 7, 8, 9, and 12. What was in 12? Yeah. The constructed email message is provided to this send mail method in line number. So after that will be iteration. In line number 12, there it shows the subject B6 and B6 sender is not filled. save as activities to all the allocations, and it will assign to email queue. Then there will be another heap allocation. In line number 12, it will get the results. So it's talking about this result object, which will result set of this particular send email method. So in line number 15, it will call the inspector result. So inspect results of the next method according to the results of the send mail method. Yeah. After the line number 15, it will execute the line number 18, which is inspect results. Then it will go to line number 19 and 24. Yeah. After the 19, it goes to, and it will iterate the values of the result. It will do the execution for line number 24 and 25 and 26. It checks 20 in line number 25. It checks for whether it is success. If it is success, it will execute the this particular debug loop. So that debug statement is shown here. You can see the timestamp. Its event is you the number 26, and it will show you debug and of the debug statement. It says email sent successfully. So that's it about the execution of our statement. Okay, let's try to do some change to our execute log to show us an error message. So we'll execute anonymous window. So what I Wishwa.untitled is a valid email address. Now I am changing it to this one, which is invalid email. So if I execute this particular section, it will show you the in line number 17. It complains about the email system email exception and send email fail. First exception row is invalid email address. and it shows what was the value. So I'm just clicking OK and I'm closing this one. If I open up the log, even you can see the status, send email fail, and what would be the error. So let's try to find out this exception in our log. So I just forgot to show you that what will happen when we select these filters. If you select this frame, it will show you only the selected frame. If you click the executables, it will show you the executable logs. If you select the debug only, then it will show you user inserted debug statements, as well as you can filter it. So I'm just going to filter this exception. Yeah. See, this one is it says system exception in line number 12. So if you go to line number 12, yeah, it's try to send the email to incorrect email. So if you select the filter text box, it will take you to the selected row number, and you can go through the log and see what went wrong. So this is how we can identify with our exceptions, and once we identified the exception and what was the row number, then we can use. Okay, I will show you the row log as well. Yeah, first of all, I will show. See, now I am just open up Apex code. If you select the select a log, then you can go to open row log. It will open up the row format of the log, and there will be more information. And we can just go through the log and find out the stuff. As I mentioned, this is the timestamp. This is the elapsed time, and this is the and it will show you the rest of the. It shows system exception, send mail fail, first exception, and it will show you the stack rate. While going through the stack rate, we can identify we can identify the issue. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to open up the log inspector and how to analyze more easy ways the analyze the logs. Let me open it up. If you go to debug menu, this view log panels is disabled for all logs. So you have to go to execution log and select the panels. To select these are the panels available. Let me open them up one by one. Is it clear enough? Do I need to increase more, decrease the zooming? Hello. Hope you can see my screen, right? Properly.
Yes.
I'm doing.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the main panels that is available for us to analyze the log. Tree. It will show you log entries, how it has been executed. So it will show you how long it has taken to execute and what would be the heap size for this execution. See this will, if you expand this a little bit more, you can see that this tooling API call has been executed. This execute anonymous Apex, and it calls the send mail, and it calls the email mission specialist class and the construct. Because we have selected the failed log, that's why it won't show us the result. So next point is execution stack. Execution stack will display bottom up view. And it displays the log entry for our operation. So if you will display all the durations and heap sizes. So execution log, obviously we have seen it before. That's the main pane and the source. For example, let's say if I select this point, to address, yeah. If I select this line number 6, this log entry, it will update the source and show you what happened in this line. So it shows that there is a array called string. There is a string array called 2 addresses, and it has initiated with given address. And next point is source list. This is source. It will show you the source of the selected log line, and it is in our system, what is the usage. Likewise, it will show you the source list, as well as it will show you the variables panel. You can identify what are the values in this particular execution. Let's see, for this line, address is assigned as testing email, and mail is object value. That's why it shows us the hexadecimal value, and subject is flight path change. This is the object value. Body is a string. It will show you the string, mission control 123, and to address also a object. At last but not least, execution overall. This pane will show you the execution overall. So for this particular code segment, we don't have any save order. That's why it is empty. So you can see the limit, and that's why it didn't show. And it will show you the execution timeline. In this particular scenario, we haven't executed any workflows, DB scripts, validations, call out, visual force pages, or system level things. We just executed the Apex code. It took 20.18 milliseconds, and it has executed 100%. And it will show you the timeline here. This is the part of all the so in particular, according to our requirements, there may be different needs of this pane. Sometimes no need to have all the panes open. So according to your need, you can just select these view log panels, and you can disable or enable accordingly. So there's another tool called Perspective Manager, where we can save the perspective according to our needs. So let me show you the Perspective Manager as well. So here we have predefined perspectives. All will show you all the panels open. Okay. So this is the log only view. If you select the analysis view, it will open up the stack tree, execution stack, execution overview, as well as event log. If you switch to debug, it will open up the execution log, source, and variables. Likewise, you can let's say we are going to execution stack. So we can save this perspective. Yeah. Demo 1 is available now in perspective menu. You can switch whatever way you want to change the perspective. Okay, let's go back to the slide. We have our first team manager. Okay. We have different sets of log categories. So these two are the most common log categories. I will show you other categories as well. So the code category shows you the log events related to Apex codes, and it includes start and the end of the methods. In the database categories, it shows you the database events, and it shows you the DML for SQL queries and social queries. So we will just discuss the SQLs and socials separately. And let me show you log levels. Actually, you have to thoroughly understand this log level. Otherwise, you will get messed up when you do the debug. So, for example, let's say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 log levels. So log levels means it controls how much of the showing in the each and every log category. And if you select log level as none, it won't show up any logs. If you select the fineness, it will show each and every log, but fineness will be heavy, so it will take more time to execute when there is a bulk of transactions to complete. So, for example, let's say in production you have 100K records to be processed, and if you open up the finest logs, then it will take some more time to finish up the job. So normally we set it to debug go info. And one more thing, I forgot to inform that log levels are cumulative, which means if you select info, it will show you all the warn logs as well as error logs, but not the debug logs. So if you select the errors, it shows logs which is below the error. So we have to be careful when you selecting the log levels. So these are the log limits. debug logs are, there will be a limit of 20 MB or smaller. If it is 20 MB, it will 20 MB or larger, it will reduce the size by removing all log lines. So which means it will show you the latest log line up to 20 MB. And system logs are preserved for 24 hours. If you select the, if you do the monitoring of debug logs, it will 7 days it will automatically. And if you have generated more than 1,000 of debug logs in 15 minutes interval, it will trace the flags and flags are disabled. And it will send you the email and inform about who has modified the last trace flag. And after that, they can re-enable the trace flag after the 15 minutes. When your org is accumulated more than 1,000 MBs of debug logs, Salesforce will prevent users in the org to edit the trace flag. So which means you can generate more logs after you reach the limit. You have to delete the rest of the debug logs. Otherwise, it won't preserve the debug logs. So I have mentioned that there are some truncations. If the log size is more than 20 MB. But thing is, following events are necessary to process the debug, so they won't not delete following execution. I mean, following events during the truncation. Execution start and stop, start and finish. Coordinate started and finished. Method entries, constructor entries, and exits. Tuple query execution, tuple query execution, callouts, and request and response, and fatal errors. So these events won't truncate during the truncation. So because these events are necessary to understand the flow, so they won't take it out. Okay, let's see how we can change the log levels. If you go to the debug menu, you can select the change log levels, and it will open up this menu. Sorry, this pop-up. It will show you general trace settings and what is the name of the setting, and what would be the expiry time, and what would be the start time, what would be the log type, what would be the log level, debug levels, if you click add or change debug levels, it will pop up the change debug level. So if we show you that SSDC dev console, this is the predefined one. It will show you that according to this this screenshot, it says DB event has debug log level, call out has debug log level, Apex finance has Apex code has finance level, validation has the debug. Likewise, these are the log levels which I mentioned you in the previous slides. So we have talked about only the Apex codes and DB log levels. Okay, let me show you. So here is the place we can change the log level. So in this particular org, I have to set the default values, DB2 info, call out info, Apex code finance. Debug. Click save, click done. Then the value. Okay, we will jump into the next part. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, we have two ways to inspect our values. One is go through the log level, logs, and second one is insert the objects in checkpoints. Okay, let's jump into the no, I will let's anytime go into the demo later. So this is a Apex class which is open up in the developer console. If we show, we can let's say okay. Here what we are going to do is we can set up checkpoints in our class and execute the code base, and we can inspect the values accordingly. So what we are going to do is in the developer console, we will go to the respective line, and in front of the line number, we can just click that space. Then it will show you a red dot, which is the checkpoint. And if you select the checkpoints tab in the tab section, it will show you what is the line and what is the file of that checkpoint is belongs to, and whether if there is any iterations, it will show you iterations as well. In the checkpoints pane, it will show you what are the values of it. So if you select this checkpoint, it will open up the checkpoint inspector, and there will be one is called symbol. In here, it shows you all the objects present in the memory at the line of the code where your checkpoint is executed. So which means it will show you all the records in this line number 15. And symbols will display all the symbols in the memory field. All the what would be the key, what would be the value will display in the value section, value column. Okay, let's go to the checkpoints. We'll open existing class. See, if you go in front of the line number, your cursor will be changed. At that time, if you click it, red dot will appear. So we have checkpoint here. If you open up the checkpoints, it will show you the checkpoint locations panel. So we are going to execute this send mail method. Yeah, once it is executed, it will show you the checkpoint values. Then double click on the checkpoint symbols. It will show you as a tree what are the objects and what are the variables available in heap. So we have body. Body's value is mission control 123 and rest of the string. If you select the subject, it will show you the value, flight path change. Likewise, it will show you all the objects. So in the mail object, it will show you rest of the attributes. Yeah, plain text body was the one which we have assigned the value. So it will show you the email body value here. So if I go to the heap will show you what are the available variables in heap at the line number 16 execution. So if I select this one, strings, there are 3 variables. So it shows us the subject, sorry, address, subject, and the body. If you select the single email message, it will show you what are the fields that are available and what are the values of the field. Likewise, it will show you all the fields and values in the inspector. So at this point, we can identify the things available in heap. Yeah, that's pretty much of about checkpoint inspector. Let's go to focus and queries. So we have 2 types of queries in Salesforce. One is SOQL, which is stands for Salesforce Object Query Language. Second one is SOSL, SOSL, Salesforce Object Search Language. So SOQL is a structured query language, which means which is SOSLs are something like search text search in records. Even this SOSL queries supports the multiple objects to be queried, but we can't do that thing in like queries using SOQL. So let's jump into the demo of Focus and Fossil. Yeah, as this is a brand new org, so I don't have any records here. So I just copy and paste some inserts. Okay. We can execute the queries in query tab. We can type in anything here. So we just create a contact, and we are going to get name, phone number, email, and title. Where department is specialty crisis management. So in this section, if there is any error is there in any query, it will show you those errors here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to execute the query using this execute button. So it will show you the result set here. Or else we can execute the query in anonymous window as well. Let me show you. See, I'm going to have initiated the contact list, and it will assign this query. First, name, phone, email, description of the contact, yeah, department equal to specialty crisis management, and order by name. And there will be a log to get the contact size, and it will show you the contact list as well. So I just execute this section and go to this logs pane and open up the log. If you select the debug only, then it will show you that there are 3 contacts returned, and it will show you the string format of the contact. So we have 3 contacts here. Even you can find 3 contacts in the debug logs as well. Okay, so I'll show you how to do a social query where you can find this crisis text in all the fields in contact and return first name, last name, phone, and the email and the title. So let's execute it. it will check for this search text and take all the records it will search on all fields of the contact. If you go to a SOCL and if you do a live query, we have to define which field has to be searched. So SOCL queries, I mean SOSL queries are more powerful in search, so we can use much of it when we do the searching. As well as SOCL queries, we can execute it in anonymous Apex. Here it will give you a list of S objects, because these SO queries are not tightly defined as tightly defined in what are the return types. So it search all the values as per our search text and return contact, first name, last name, phone, email, and description. So this is how we are going to get the contact list. We have search and we will first search list and it will concatenate using contact array, and it will show you the how many contacts and what are the contacts you have searched according to this search text. Okay, let's open up this section. It will show you found following contacts: Sunrise, Node, Forma. So these are the contacts what we have found in the search text according to the search text. So this is pretty much all about the developer console. Let's have a break and come back for
Yeah, Vishwa.
go for 10.
Vishwa, you are breaking. I think, guys, let's have a break for 10 minutes and we can back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vishwa, we can start, I guess.
Okay. Hope all the guys are back, right?
Yeah, in person are back and hop online also. Let's get started, Vishwa.
Okay. So our next section is we are going to cover up Apex testing. So these are the key topics. I'm going to talk about intro to unit testing, do a hands-on Apex trigger testing, and create data for Apex testing. Okay, let's. So what are the unit tests? Unit tests are the tests performed by developers to ensure the functionality is working properly and for all the cases, positive, negative, as well as for bulk and rules. Test also help us to align the long-term developments of the project so that we can ensure previous sets of our development is working without error free. I mean, without any error. So why we need this unit test in Salesforce? First point is to validate desired behavior, which means all the business logics are covered according to business analysis requirements, as well as second point is to reduce our bugs. So when we do the unit testing, we most of the time we as developers we tend to test happy parts only. But if you do the proper unit testing, it will cover all the possible scenarios. So it may reduce the bugs, as well as you guys know that we are in multi-tenant architecture. Due to that, there are some governor limits. So if we do the bulk testing, we can identify that whether we are hitting any limits. So last point is as Salesforce norm, we have to cover test coverage and code coverage in production deployments. So it is a must to have 75% of code coverage. So try to do as much as you can to cover the code. So it will help you to identify glitch, which there are any glitch are there. So let's jump into question. So these are the places we have to do unit testing in Salesforce. First one is Apex triggers, Apex classes. Classes may have handlers, helpers, web services, Apex risks, and SOAP services. When it comes to Visual Force pages, if there are any controllers related to that Visual Force page, you have to do unit test for that controllers. If there is no any controllers involved in Visual Force pages, then no need to have test coverage. Next, you have to have test coverage for batches, viewable classes, future methods, as well as if you have any other custom developments, you have to have at least 75% of test coverage to deploy the changes into production. Okay, so this is syntax. We can annotate each test in our class, and then Salesforce will identify that class as a test class, as well as we have to define our test methods by annotating each text. So this will be the syntax. We have all the way to define a test method using method keyword, but it's deprecated now, so no need to worry much about test methods syntax. So there are several ways to execute your test classes. One is using developer console, and you can use your VS Code to execute the test, as well as you can use Apex test execution page in setup. In these three places, you can do the test execution. So we will just try the developer console. So what we have to do is we have to open the test menu and do a new run. Then we have to select the name of the test class, and it will show up the methods which is included in selected class. After that, we have to select the test method which we want to execute. Okay, once test is executed, it will show you under the test tab as a preview. Let's jump into the demo. I will show you how to do the test execution. and how to increase the code coverage, and how to execute a test suite, and how to do the test execution. Okay. Let me close this stuff. I will create a new class for temperature converter, so we can do the test coverage for that class. This is a very simple method where we convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay. I'm creating the test class. Switch my Wi-Fi connection. I think previous connection is getting interrupted. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, Vishwa, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So we have different test scenarios. I will let you know what are the each and everything related to this method. So first method is warm temp. We just convert the Fahrenheit 70 to Celsius. So actual value will be, expected value is 21.11, and we have to provide the actual value, which is passing from Fahrenheit to Celsius method is decimal code Celsius. So we are using this as assert statement to inspect the results. So let me show you one thing. we have several assert methods that we can use. Let me show you the developer guide. Here one is assert, condition, and the message. So if assert condition is true, then it works. If it is not, then fatal error will be there and it will show you the message. Even this message is optional, so we can just pass the condition as well. Second point is assert equals. Assert equals has expected value, actual value, and the message. Even in this method, message is optional. Assert not equal, which shows the expected value and the actual value and the message, but this one is if both values are same, then it will give you error. That is that are the three assert methods that we are going to use in the unit testing. So we have another test scenario called freezing point, boiling point, negative temperature. So it will cover almost all of the scenarios of this particular Fahrenheit to Celsius method. So what I am going to do is I will show you how to execute a test. So if you select the test class, there will be a button called run test. So it is only available for test classes. See, if you select a none test, there won't be any run test button. So I just click this one and wait for execution. Then select the test. You can open up the tree view. It will show you a test run and what was the time of execution, and what was the test class name, and what are the test methods. And it will show you the, and if something is enqueued, it will show you enqueue time as well. If there is any failures, it will show you the failures and what are the total number of test methods are executed. So in this case, we have truth test temperature cover up temperature converter class, and it has cover up 100% of test coverage. If you double click this one, it will show you in purple color, which all the lines were covered, logics were covered by the test. So let's do let's change something. Then it will fail the okay, let's do simple change here. So boiling point is 212 Fahrenheit, which is equal to 100 degrees of Celsius. So in this scenario, we are getting actual value as 100. So we just change it to 20. So in this scenario, this boiling point test has to be failed because we are expecting 20, but actual value is 100. So I will show you next place where we can execute the new test. Select the new under the test menu. Then we have to select the class. And normally all the test classes will be listed here. If you can't find your test class, you can search it here. In my scenario, we don't have much test classes, so we can just find it out. We can select all test methods, or even we can select whatever the method we have to execute. So we just select and run. Okay, now our test run is getting failed due to a boiling point fail. So let's see what's happening. When you select this fail test, you can see what was the error. We have access exception, and it says access failed, boiling point is not expected. We expected 20, but actual value is 100. So that's how we can identify the fail points. Even you can go to logs. If you want to see more details, you can select the logs. So this is the log where assumption got failed. You just have to, even you can find it. So this is the asset exception. Just tick off. It will take you to the respective line. So you can identify that what was the problem here. Assumption failed. Temperature is not expected. Expected 20, then actually is 100. So if you fix the, so actually I just mimic the test scenario, but in actual test phase, you can find the problem and fix it out. So when it comes to test coverage, I mentioned that we have to have at least 75% of test coverage in Apex classes. Okay, let's create another class. In this method, what we do is there's a validation for input. If length is greater than 2, it will return null, or else it checks task priority. If it is CA, then it shows as high, else it shows as normal. Okay, so let's try to have a test class for this one. So here, we have only one scenario to check normal priority. Let's execute this one. Tests are completed, and we have only 75% of test coverage for task util class. Let's double click it and open. Then it will show you what are the scenarios not covered by your test class in red. So we have to cover these values to increase our test coverage. So what I'm going to do is try to fix my test class with all the possible scenarios. So we check for normal priority, high priority, and the null. So we always use this one here, asset equals normal and high, and we can even provide the null values as well. So I'm saving it. See now test coverage, code coverage is increased to 100. So likewise, we have to think throughout all the possible scenarios and how. Mainly, we have to write a test coverage for happy scenario, negative, bulk, and single record. If you cover all four scenarios, most probably your test will be most probably the logic will be covered by your test. Okay, before we go into test data, I just need to show you another way to execute a test in developer console. We can create a test suite and include all the test classes as a collection of tests. So when you select task util test and temperature converter test, both values will be both the test classes will be executed when we run the run our test suite. So even you can manage the test using test suite manager. You can add new tests rename test, edit source, delete source. So what we are going to do is we're going to have a new suit run. So this is the demo suit. So when I select it, and I'm going to click the test suite run. Okay. See, we have a failed test scenario in boiling point. So at that point, whole test suite will be failed. So I'm going to update the test coverage for this point. And we can do the at that point it will execute both the task util test and temperature converter test, and we can see the overall code coverage for task util and temperature converter is almost 100. So this will help us to add the collection of test coverage, I mean test classes according to our requirements. For example, let's say we have a feature which includes 20 test classes. So once we deploy that feature, we may have to change some logics. After we change the simple logic, but we may have to check all the possible scenarios what we have covered previously. So if you use this kind of a test suite, you can add all the test classes that you have built previously, and you can see regression testing there. So that will, test suites will help out at that perspective to cover all the possible values. Possible scenarios as a collection, and even we can execute at once whole bunch of test classes. Okay, let's go to slide. So when we creating, in Apex classes, we have Apex test classes. We have to insert, delete, update, or upsert any values to test out our business logic. So what we have to do is we have to do CRUD operations during the test execution. So those records which has been created, modified, or deleted won't committed into the database. So it will roll back all the transactions once you finish the test execution. So that will be that rollback behaviors help us to clean all the test data. So we no need to worry about cleaning the test data, as well as in by default, we don't have any access to pre-existing data in the org. I mean, we can use some annotations and get the access for pre-existing. We can do the access for pre-existing data as well. Metadata objects and users and user profiles are available in default context. So no need to do any changes to get the metadata information in test classes. Yeah. So as we don't have access to pre-existing data, our test classes won't change our production data during our test execution. So that would be a good thing. Otherwise, we have to take care of all the production data as well. So you can create data directly in test method, or you can use a utility class, or else you can upload the test data as static resource. We can check those methods later. So when we write effective test unit testing, we need to consider about these factors. As you guys know, we have to taking care of governor limits when we do our development. So even when we do the unit testing, we need to think about the governor limits. Otherwise, our test will easily hit the limits. So we have to use this test.start method and test.stop method to utilize reset the governor limits during the test. And we can use this. I already mentioned that each test is the annotation we have to use in test methods. The test method is test method. Test method syntax is already deprecated. Thirdly, I have mentioned several times, we have to cover all the scenarios, and we have to use assets to validate the results, because without validating, we don't have any clue that our test has passed or not. So what we have to do is we have to use assert statements to validate our results. And always try to have at least 200 records to do bulk testing, and try to create a test data in test car. So when you reduce the use of COL data through annotation, your test class will be more efficient. Otherwise, if you use COL data, it will try to read the whole set of records in your org. So it will reduce the it will increase the testing time and resources in your org. So try to always use CO data false, which actually no need to mention CO data false as it is set default. If you are using CO data through annotation, try to use it in method level. Then it will reduce, at least it will reduce some execution time and resource usage. So let's jump into the testing of Apex triggers hands-on. I will create a new trigger for account deletion on accounts. I hope you guys have a understanding about the triggers. So I will just go through it. So what we are going to do in this trigger is we have a trigger called account deletion on account, and it executes before delete. So we are going to prevent the deletion of the account, which we have opportunities in that particular account. So what we are going to do is we'll try to get the accounts accounts and check for the opportunities. If there are any opportunities, then we will add the error that you cannot delete the account with related opportunity. So this is the logic of our trigger. Let's try to create the test case for it. Here, what we do is in our test method, we just create a account and an opportunity, and we try to delete this account and check for the delete results. So we are checking whether this delete this delete method executes successfully. If it is not, asset will get failed. It checks whether results has any other errors. If there are any other errors, then it will fail again, and it checks for asset equals. Cannot delete account with related opportunities as the expected value, and we get the results error, first error message. So this is the test class we are going to execute now. So our scenario is quite quite straightforward. Account deletion trigger covers almost 100% test coverage by using test account deletion method, test class. Okay, so now we will jump into the next part of creation of test data. Yeah. Before that, I just need to give some tips, but we have already spoke about them. First tip is use test visible to access private members in test classes. That's what is meant for the what it meant was if there are any private methods or variables, if you don't have test visible annotation, then it will fail to access that particular code segment, and your test test classes will get failed. Test.load data. So if you use static resources to generate the test data, you can use this test.load data method, as well as if you have to test permissions. For example, let's say if there is a scenario, there are two profiles. One is have access to perform a business scenario, and other profile doesn't have any access to execute that business rule. So, and that particular scenarios, we have to test for both user profiles. So at that scenario, you have to set system.run as and provide the user, then it will execute in that particular user's context. So that's how we do the testing user context. And I already spoke about start test and stop test. So let's try to get to know about test setup method in test class. We can use test setup method to create common set of data across all the test methods in same test class. So which means it will reduce the creation time. I mean data creation time in each and every test method. So it will increase the performance of our test class. And test setup method executes first before any test method executes in the class. So always it will execute before each and every I mean it will execute the test setup before the test method, as well as during the test method execute, there will be some updates, deletes, and other changes will be there, right? Those changes will be rolled back after finishing the particular test method. In the next method, it will get the original unmodified records. So we will get fresh data set for the each and every test method. And if we have at test setup annotation in our class, we can't use see all data through annotation to get pre-existing data to test it. And we can set up only one test method in a test class. I mean, one test setup method in a test class. If there are any errors in setup method, entire class will be failed. So that is one way of setting up data in test methods. I will show you it later. Next, second method is we can use a test data factory class. Actually, we can create any util class to util class with this test annotation, and we can use it in across multiple classes. So it will help us to reduce to have duplicate codes, as well as increase the reusability and increase the performance of test classes. So let's go into demo. Let's set up and test data factory. Okay. Let's try to create a class called test data factory. In this util class, what we are going to do is create accounts with opportunities. We will provide a number of accounts as well as number of opportunities per account. So we will get this number of accounts and have a for loop and create I number of accounts, as well as we create the opportunity list as per number of accounts and a number of opportunities per account, and we will insert them accordingly. That's what we do in this structure class. Let's go to account deletion test. So we can just omit these. Okay. What I did was I just call the test data factory, and create one account with one opportunity. So it will provide us the account list, and I'm getting the account list, first account of the accounts list. So let's try to execute this one. So our test was executed properly. So this is how we can even we can use this test data factory class in multiple test classes. So it will help us to populate the data. So let's see different scenarios using same test class. I mean, same test data method. So I'll just copy and oops, sorry. Here what we check is we test for one account with one opportunity. So at that point, there has to be error on account deletion. So it won't, this validation should happen. So that is the first scenario. Delete account with no opportunities. So at that point, we will be able to delete this particular account. So because we don't have any other opportunities linked to this particular account. So third scenario was delete bulk account with one opportunity. So here what we do is we create 200 records, 200 accounts with one opportunity, and this deletion has to be failed. So we have to iterate the delete result data set and check whether delete is success, not success, and if there are any errors, then we check for this error message. Next scenario is delete bulk accounts with no opportunity. So here what we do is we create 200 accounts without any opportunity. So all the accounts has to be deleted. So delete result should get success. So let's try to execute it. So all the 4 scenarios get success. I think I need to show you guys how to set up a test setup. Let me okay. Okay, what I did was I just created a setup method where we insert one account and an opportunity. So I just try to get an account. Probably we don't have any accounts here. I mean, in setup, we have only one. So we will get the account and try to delete it. So I just comment all other test methods. Let's try to execute. Okay. So this method got success. So which means this setup method works. So what happens is when you try to execute a method, it will test method. Initially we will test method test setup method will be executed before our test method. So it will populate the test data as we want. So let's say we need to have another test method. I will just try to duplicate same test method without naming. See both the test method. Sorry. Both the test method get executed without any issue. So which means our test method service both the test method. Okay, I think that's pretty much of it about today's session. Do you guys have any questions? I can answer them. Do you have any chats? I couldn't check the chat box. Okay. Since do you have any questions to be get clarified? Anything else to be asked? Anything? I am open to questions.
Guys, please talk if you have any questions. So yeah, just clarify.
Okay. Ankit says that session is very practical and thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, Ankit.
Anyone else, guys?
Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, let's wind up this session. If you have anything, you can reach me on my Twitter handle or in LinkedIn. Thank you so much for participating in this session. I think it's a bit much of boring because it dragged up to 3 hours and 20 minutes, I guess.
Yeah. I think Brenda is little bit busy. So thanks, Vishwa. So thank you so much. It was a great session from you. Thank you so much on behalf of.
Yeah, welcome you guys.
Thank you. Thanks everyone
Yes,
for joining.
yes. Yeah, thank you everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.